This is Eagle Owl, and today I'll be talking about CJ Gardner Johnson being voted as the most annoying player. I mean, that is probably true. Also, we got to talk about Mekhi Becton. He's been balling out of his mind, proving the New York Jets wrong. And lastly, look like Slay and Devontae Smith. They on their way back. But let's get straight into it. All right, man. Of course, before we hop straight into it, I got to talk about some other stuff. Yes, I do. I want to talk about this masterclass that Howie Roseman been putting on. Just his first two picks of like each round since, I want to say since like 2020, 2019-ish. And let's go over it. So this graph right here been trending on Twitter, multiple people tweeting it out. So Jeff Kerr was the original source. So this is Howie Roseman draft class since 2020, just the first two picks. So 2020, it was Jalen Hurts and Jalen Rager, which we know Jalen Rager didn't work out. But then you go into 2021, you got Landon Dickerson and Devontae Smith. Then you had Cam Jurgens and Jordan Davis. Then you have Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter. And then Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. As I say in this tweet, 9 out of 10 are starters. Obviously, Jalen Rager is not even an Eagle. But man, I mean, the myth that Howie Roseman can't draft is completely dead. It's dead in the waters. Because I said since like 2020, 2021, like after that Jalen Rager thing or that Jalen Rager blunder, he got better. So he learned from his mistakes and just got better and better and better, as we see. So Howie Roseman, that's all he had to get down pat. How can I get those first 3 rounds right? Just those first 3 rounds, because he had tried to take a gamble on that first round, on that first rounder, maybe even on the second rounder. Like, oh, I'm gonna just outsmart everybody. Let me get this guy. Like, he tried to outsmart everybody and get Jalen Rager. Well, the obvious pick was Justin Jefferson. It just didn't make sense. I don't think Jalen Rager to me was a first round pick. He wasn't. Maybe second, early second, or really late first round, but over Justin Jefferson, that just did not make sense. But he wanted to outsmart everybody. Look, I got the speedster. I'm gonna get this guy, and then it's like, no, don't overthink this. And then since then, he haven't been overthinking. Quinyon was the best option. Devontae Smith, when we picked him, he was the best option. I'm just saying. So Howie Roseman got the first 2 rounds down pat so far, as we always knew he found those late round gems. Jordan Mailata. That's all. That's the only name I had to say. Like, he always found those late, I say fourth rounders, fifth rounder guys that can be guys. And mind you, those are just showing like the first two picks. We can go into, like, if we want to go a little further back, like what Josh Sweat is doing. Josh Sweat is a complete gem. Hell, Milton Williams, what, a third rounder, complete gem. He's not considered a quote unquote starter, but he's a complete gem. Hell, we can go into N'Kobe Dean. N'Kobe Dean wasn't the first two pick, but he was that, I think third rounder, if I'm not mistaken. A gem. Sidney Brown is going to make his way. I'm not forgetting about Sidney Brown, but we're going to talk about him a little bit. And, oh, dang, who else? There's somebody else that's slipping my mind. But he always get those third rounders, fourth rounders down pat. He always get them right. Hell, Moro Ojamo, a complete gem. And that was, what, a seventh round pick? I'm just saying, man, we always knew he can do that. But those first 2 rounds, he always slip up. And now he's getting that down pat. Howie Roseman is a gem. Definitely, definitely a gem. So let's talk about the injury report. Let's go over that. And yeah, let's talk about it. So the injury report came out. So we have here Reed Blankenship concussion. Some tells me he's not going to play, but did not participate. Sidney Brown knee did not participate. So before I read off the rest of the names, I want to talk about Sidney Brown a bit, because I see the things like Sidney Brown not starting or not coming in. Like for Reed Blankenship, we'd rather go with Tristan McCullum, and Tristan McCullum played really well. What I think is you have to go back what Vic Fangio said when Sidney Brown was first, elevated. He like, we got to take it easy on Sidney Brown. We don't want to rush him out there because he tore his ACL, and we don't want anything bad to happen to like his knee or whatever. We just got to take it slow. We don't want to rush him out there. And when I see this injury report with knee, I wonder which knee is it. And Vic Fangio might have been right on this one because all Sidney Brown really been doing is special teams, and he hurt his knee. So I think if it's the same knee, Vic Fangio was on to something, and maybe Sidney Brown was like 85 to 90, but he probably wasn't fully 100%. And that's why Vic Fangio was saying, like, we got to take it easy with him because we don't want anything like career ending. Like, we don't want to rush this thing back. Rush this guy back. We don't want to rush Sidney Brown back. And now, again, when I see this knee thing, it lets me know, like, again, Vic Fangio was on to something. Not that he don't like Sidney Brown or like the way he play. It's just that he had a major injury, man. He had a major injury, and MetLife just did it to our guy. MetLife was MetLife, and so hopefully, he get healthy, he get back stronger than ever. But this saddens me to see, like, he ain't practicing because it's a knee issue, and hopefully it's not the same knee. If it's the same knee, that's just sad. Then you got Britton Covey, neck. Then Dallas Goedert, knee. Which I'm surprised Dallas Goedert is not on IR. Maybe it is a week-to-week thing. Do we miss 1 game, 2 games, 3 games? Because if we don't put him on IR, he's going to miss 3 games max. So then you have Saquon Barkley, who just don't even practice no more. He's resting. Mekhi Becton, knee/rest. Probably minor knee injury. And then Mekhi Becton just getting the rest that he deserves. Jalen Carter, another guy, rests. He plays 100% of the snaps, so he need the rest. So it's good to see Darius Slay limited with a concussion, so it's making progress coming back. Josh Sweat rests, who plays a lot of snaps, makes sense. Uh, it's good to see Johnny Wilson, limited. Uh, yeah, we'll get him back soon. And then Devontae Smith, full participant. That is great to see. We get Devontae Smith back. Yo, I gotta see how many games we had our trio and Dallas Goedert, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith. It seemed like they just never on the field together. Oh, it's Devontae Smith with an injury, then it's AJ Brown with an injury, then it's Dallas Goedert. We gonna need all three of y'all for the playoffs, man. We gotta get right because I don't remember besides week 1 where all the guys was just on the field where we got to see the full arsenal. I can't think of a game besides week 1. Let me know what game they all played together. I don't know. I really don't know. So that's our injury report. We also made some roster moves. So we signed CJ Uzma as expected. He signed to the active roster, and we brought back Paris Campbell to the practice squad, which makes sense because you never know if you need to elevate Paris Campbell. And I think I could be wrong. When you get cut and you sign again, does the elevations reset? I don't know. I could be totally wrong on that. But this makes sense. You sign Paris Campbell back, who cleared waivers, and then CJ Uzma. We short on the tight end room. So, yeah, and CJ Uzma is a good blocker. Definitely a good blocker. So that definitely makes sense. But let's get into, I guess, the meat and potatoes. Darius Slay and Devontae Smith is back. This is good to see. Darius Slay, again, as I read off, is limited. I mean, Darius Slay been hurt all year. Just all year, man. And when he's in, he's making good things happen. But how long will he be in? So I'm really happy that Howie Roseman really emphasized the cornerback room because we even seen when Guantanamo Bay got hurt, you still had Keely Ringo. You still had Keely Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers, the guys that can still play at a really high level for sure. So it's good that, again, Howie Roseman emphasized the defensive backs because I didn't know Slay. I know Slay was getting older, but man, I don't think Slay got another year, huh? It's just too much. It's the concussion, it's the knee, it's the ankle. It's always something. But I get it. He been doing this thing for a long time. And again, when he's on the field, you can't deny it. He's one of those guys. It's just when he's on the field, So it feel like Isaiah Rogers damn near been the starter, but Slay is Slay. Slay is a captain, and again, when he's on the field, it's hard to get open against him. Not the most physical guy, but it's hard to get open against him. And what can I say about Devontae Smith? He just elevates the passing game. Just having that threat of Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and yin and the yang who get things going. You never know if AJ Brown gonna hit you for a big game or even Devontae Smith. When one or the other is out, we usually missing that other big play guy. Maybe Dallas Goedert could do it for you from time to time, but we know the Devontae Smith and AJ Brown is just one of the best, if not the best duo in the NFL. So it's good to have Devontae Smith back. And it's going into the latter of the year. Like, we're going to need these guys healthy. I know a lot of people say maybe he should sit against the Panthers. Like, nah, the Panthers, they trying to play at a high level. They going to try to bring it for sure. Hopefully the Eagles don't overlook this game. But we're going to need him. We need him to get those reps. We definitely need him to get those reps because I think the next two games, it's like Washington and then Pittsburgh. It's a little tough stretch. We got to go to Washington, which basically is a home game. That's our home. Washington, our home. And then we actually play Pittsburgh at home. But the teams overall are playing somewhat good. Washington just came off a Titans win, and then plus they going to want that revenge. We can't let them have that. No, absolutely not. And again, it's going to be good to have Devontae Smith back. Then don't overlook the Panthers. The Panthers are, trying to gain confidence. And you see those type of teams that, started really slow and then they try to go into the next season hot. Think of last year, the Cardinals. Like, Cardinals sucked all year, but towards the latter of the season, you start seeing them pick up wins, beating good teams. And then this year, they're an average team, but they try to go into the following year with momentum. And it seemed like the Panthers are trying to do that. And what could be a big momentum thing for them to knock off the Eagles in a win streak. We can't let that happen. We cannot let that happen. So, again, it's good to have Devontae Smith back and Slay back to, calm the Panthers down a little bit. We know y'all fought with the Chiefs. We know that was a hard fought game. That's a game y'all should have won. But y'all coming into Philadelphia. We not going to the Carolinas. Y'all coming into Philadelphia in December. It's going to be cold. Let's see how y'all handle that cold, and Eagles better get that dub. All right, so let's talk about Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton. It was only a matter of time I talk about Mekhi Becton. Y'all know he was probably one of my favorite signings, and I kept saying, move him to guard, man. He's too good just to be on the bench behind Jordan Mailata. Move him to guard. I think he could take Steen's spot. No offense to Steen, but as we see, it's levels to it. Like, Steen was in. Remember, Mekhi Becton got hurt, and Steen did a good job, but Mekhi Becton is just a different level. He's a different beast. We talking about a guy that was a first-round pick, and New York just completely gave up on him. Why? Don't know. Don't make sense. But let's let Baldy break it down.
About this. 8 months ago, Mekhi Becton had never taken a snap of offensive guard in his life. Now he's lined up against the Pro Bowl defensive tackle, and he stabs him, and his feet move, and he locks him out. And Jalen right here has got a nice, clean, flat pocket to deliver the ball to AJ. He's got Washington on one technique. Protect the inside first. Don't let him go inside. Jalen with a nice, flat pocket, ball out. Against Matabike again, one-on-one. The tough block. You got Jurgens sliding away to Dickerson. He's got a two-way go here on Matabike. Watch him use his hands and his feet. The set, the stab. Watch him reset his hands. Bam! Right back on the breastplate. You can't get any better than that. And then the lockout. Like, that's just unbelievable guard play. That's as good as it gets in this business. Then you watch him in the run game. You just watch him torque guys. Like, literally torque them. Like, you take Washington and just turn them. And here comes Dickerson and Mailata, and there goes Jalen. Oh, and by the way, the next play, they ran the same play, except they handed it to Barkley, and he went 25 yards for the game-breaking, game-clinching touchdown on the next play.
See, man, the guy can definitely play. This is what I've been trying to tell some of my followers on here, or I won't call y'all followers. I mean, some of my supporters on here, that Mekhi Becton is the real deal. No man, he was a bust or whatever. I'm telling you, he can play because that strength. I'm telling you, he's going to be really good, especially against the run. And what do you know? But at the same time, as much as I love Makai back then, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't resign him because you do have Steen. And I like Steen, and Steen is only going to get better than Makai back then. You know, he can move on and get probably the big contract. Or hell, the way he's talking, he loves Philadelphia. Philadelphia offer him something like somewhat competitive or a hometown discount. I think he would stay under Stoutland. Then there'd be questions about Steen, but that's off season talk. We talk about that another time. But Makai Becton, man, he's doing this thing, and I'm happy to hear him say like, "I love playing football again," because that was the thing in New York too. They saying wasn't falling in love with football. He came off quote unquote lazy, and he was like injury prone or something like that. One, he's been really durable. Two, he loves football. And three, he's not a bust. He can still play. I think even if he was at tackle, he could still play. But he gave respect. He like, yo, that's Jordan Mailata. Hell, that's Lane Johnson. Like, I got to get in where I fit in. And he took the guard position. And so for real, he took over the guard position. So shout out to Makai Becton. And let's get into the last topic. This is the most CJ Gardner Johnson thing ever, that he was voted the most annoying player in the NFL. And I think Brandon Graham was like fifth or fourth. That made sense. That made sense. I love CJ Gardner Johnson, but man, when he's not on your team, I absolutely get it. He went to Detroit. Yes. He was going at the fence a little bit, but that's CJ Gardner Johnson. He's gonna talk his talk, but when he's on your team, it helps. Cause you see, like, even when you go back to the Atlanta game when he was annoying the receiver, and the receiver actually, bit the cheese or bit the bait, and then next thing you know is backing up Atlanta because he pissed off the receiver, and he's just that energetic guy. He's the guy that get the team going. He's the guy that talk trash to the other team, and he always gonna talk his talk. He don't care who you are. He's gonna talk his talk, and he's been backing it up on the field because I remember a lot of you guys were saying in the beginning of the season, he's not hitting. All he doing is talking. And then, the Buccaneers thing, he's like BTA, belt to ass, belt to ass. And we got our ass whooped against the Buccaneers. But since then, man, he turned it around. I don't think he haven't missed a tackle yet since the one game. I think the 8-game winning streak. Of course, scored a couple picks. He's looking really solid. So sometimes I still see comments about him like, yeah, CJ Gardner Johnson is like still the weakest link on the team. I'm like, how? He haven't been giving up no touchdowns. He's been covering really, really well. He's been hitting. I don't know what y'all see. I actually don't really see no weak link. I mean, you seen it in the beginning of the season. Like, yeah, maybe CJ Gardner Johnson can get got. But so far, man, no. Absolutely not. But I like what CJ Gardner Johnson been doing. He's been quiet a little bit off the field. Haven't been posting as much and haven't been doing too much. But when he's on the field, that's the same CJ Gardner Johnson, man. He's the same guy. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hey, man, what do you think? How do you feel about everything? CJ Gardner Johnson, the injury report. I know I talked about Sidney Brown just a little bit. I guess it's everything I talked about, man. Just let me know your thoughts. And this is Eagle Owl, man. I'm out.